Hello and welcome to the Trading Battle sponsored by ACAP. I am your host, Boris Schlossberg, and if this is your first time you're tuning in, get ready for an explosive show. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll put two world-class traders into the market ring of fire and have them battle it out, all for the name of charity. The two contestants will face three challenges, and in each challenge, they'll be required to execute a trade in a Forex pair or a CFD of their choice. By the end of the session, we'll calculate the profits and losses of each challenge and declare the winner. So without further ado, let me introduce you here to the contenders. In the blue corner, from San Francisco Stock Exchange to the great outdoors of the Pacific Northwest, he's a trader by day and an avid mountain biker by night, founder of Asper Trading and a man with 25 years of trading experience. We have Dave Floyd. And in the red corner, from Sydney, Australia, in the sunny UK, this contender started trading at the ripe young age of 16. Now a popular YouTuber with a loyal following and educational courses. Welcome to the show, Nick Bencino. Good morning, guys. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Let's make sure the sound to everybody is good. Nick, say hi to me.
Hello.
Hello, Nick. And Dave, say hi to me. Oh, we need Dave's sound.
Sound for Dave.
Hi, Dave. We just got to get a little bit of sound for Dave to get him online. Let's give it a shot. We'll give it one more second with my producer. In the meantime, hey, Nick, how's everything going? Nick is a massive trader in crypto. We're going to have a big conversation about the single most, I think, interesting asset in the capital markets today, which is cryptocurrencies. But we're also going to follow lots of different stories in FX, in equities. So we'll be doing quite a lot of different markets today as we get ready for the trading battle. So Dave, say hi to us. Can we have?
Yeah.
All right. We got the sound on Dave. Beautiful. How are you? How's the Pacific Northwest? I just have one question for you before we start, Dave. How do you mountain bike at night? That seems to be a more dangerous activity. Go ahead.
I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. I mean, the one beautiful thing about being on the West Coast is the markets. I mean, I know markets are 24/7, but the official close is at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., of course, Pacific. So my afternoons are usually my mountain bike time.
Well, that explains it. Because mountain biking is dangerous enough. I really thought you had an unbelievable appetite for risk to go down mountains in the middle of the night.
No.
Okay, sounds good. Well, great to have two of our battling contestants today. Our first challenge of the day that I'm going to put together to both of the contestants is, what is the best trade going into the close of the week? And we have a lot of very interesting stories today in the overnight session. You know, first of all, we had positive PMIs out of Europe, so there's good, strong data in Europe and also in the UK if you're following that data set. And then we also had some very interesting information regarding the cryptocurrency market. Janet Yellen, the Treasurer of the United States, said that the United States is considering forcing everybody who owns cryptocurrency to disclose their positions if they hold more than $10,000, because they're treating Bitcoin essentially as cash. In the United States, you have this requirement that if you hold more than $10,000 of cash, you need to disclose it. So to me, those are very interesting stories because they're clearly having an impact on the markets as we're going into the trade. And then on top of all of that, stocks are actually doing quite well. NASDAQ and S&P and the DAX all about 0.5% up. So very, very strong movements to the upside, good tonality in equities. So let's hear it, guys. Let's go first to Dave. Dave, what is your best trade into going into Friday, going into the close of the week? What do you like to do?
Well, what I'm looking at, because I think basically, I mean, we had a really nice rally in the S&Ps over the last couple of days after getting off to a really tough start to the week. I still think we're kind of in an overall trading range over the last couple of weeks. You know, a lot of up and a lot of down, but essentially not moving anywhere, generally speaking. So what I'm looking to do, and again, this is not a forecast for, the next several months. It's out maybe a few days at most. I'm going to be looking to sell the S&Ps into the 4177, 4205 range. I'm going to want to see how we open, how prices test those levels. But that would be my call, is to be short the S&Ps, looking for lower levels in the next several days.
Okay, so we are right now in the S&P. Let me just double check on my futes. We're about 4170. So you're looking. You want to sell the S&P about 5 to 7 points above this level. Are you a scale up seller? Do you, or is it all sort of like at one single price, or do you want to just average up into that position?
In this particular thing, I'd want to average up probably twice. Put in two layers. How we open and how we test that 4177, or as I like to say, I'm not trading levels. I'm trading the area. If it looks as though we're starting to weaken, I don't have to let it go to 4205. I've just got that window of range, or that range. So depending on how we open in New York time, we're open now, but the quote unquote official open, that'll determine where I want to get in. But I'll always leave a little piece on the table just in case, you can't finesse the perfect price, which is very hard to do.
Okay. All right. Let's ask Nick, because we're a little bit short on time here on the challenge one. What are you looking at as your opening trade into the close of the week? It's sort of the Friday special, as we say in America. What's your blue plate special today, Nick?
I'm mostly looking at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is primed to break through the 42,000, which is really holding it back from this current recovery that it's in.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying that it's a bit of a dead cat bounce. How it dropped to 30,000, it's recovered. The signs I'm seeing suggest that we're actually headed for a legitimate turnaround in BTC, perhaps even back up to 50K in the next week or two. So I have been scaling in to BTC. And I'm looking to really start getting in pretty heavy right now, because now I'm pretty convinced, looking at the charts, that it is going to recover.
Okay.
So and also Ethereum.
So would it be okay for us to get live Bitcoin at current prices for you? You're comfortable at this level as we get going? Because we want to do at least one trade here for the first challenge. And Dave, for you too. If you don't have a level to enter on the S&P, would you be comfortable, close enough at this 4170 level, or 71 actually? We're trading 71 on the feuds.
I think that's totally fine. Totally fine.
Okay. How about you, Nick? Come on, I'm going to bully you into this long Bitcoin trade, because I'm with you.
Oh no, I'm getting in right now. All
right, so
just
Nick is
long. We're trading unleveraged here, so I don't have to worry too much about getting the perfect price. I do like to get a lower price, obviously, but that's the beauty of trading without leverage. You don't really need a stop loss, because you can never really get to zero. Unless Bitcoin disappears.
Oh yes, you could. Those are famous last words. But all right, so we're gonna float Biddy. We're gonna get long S&P market right now. Both trades are sort of
short S&P.
Sorry. My apologies. Short the S&P. And we're sort of open-ended. If risk goes very badly against us, Dave, you'll tell us, if you want to cover the position or whether you want to add. But right now, these are sort of scale-in trades, meaning that they're just probative positions, opening positions from both traders, and they are ready to kind of watch the instruments and then adjust them as we go throughout the trading session. So let me quickly turn your attention.
Can I take two? Sorry to interrupt. Can I take two, or am I limited to one? All right, so Ethereum too.
Give me another one. Give me another one.
BTC and Ethereum.
ETH. Okay,
Ethereum.
So he's long ETH. ETH at around 2706 right now on my screen. So great. So he's basically you're doubling up on the lever. You're long crypto there. Okay. Sounds great. We have two excellent opening positions for our challenge one. We'll see how they go as the day goes by. But now let's shift our focus to the news of the day. And really the only big news of the day right now in the G10 market is the Canadian retail sales. Not a supremely big event, but enough to kind of move CAD. And we're certainly going to focus our attention on the Canadian dollar and the Canadian crosses now. Now, the basic background on retail sales is that the market last time had a very big bounce, 4.8% a month-to-month gains, as clearly a huge amount of demand came back into the Canadian economy. This time, the market is looking for a more modest bounce of about 2.3%. So still relatively healthy growth as the Canadian consumer comes back to spending. Overall, I've got to tell you that the Canadian dollar has been a monster. And as someone who has 2 kids in Canada, it's been painful because the exchange rates have really been going against us. The Canadian economy, for those of you who are sort of following it, has done relatively well. It's certainly getting boosted by the fact that oil prices have really stabilized and gone well, and especially other resources. I'm sure you've all heard about the craziness of lumber prices. Well, Canada is a massive lumber producer as well. It's a big resource hog. But in addition to that, the Canadian central bank, the Bank of Canada, has been far more hawkish than most of the other G10 central banks. They've essentially said that they're going to stop easing, period, while all the other central banks are still considering a much more of an easing posture and may eventually move to a more tapering posture and even possibly a rate tightening conditions. So for all those reasons, the Canadian dollar has been a monster buy. Dollar CAD has been a monster sell because we trade inverse, of course, in FX. And as we are setting up for the retail sales, I'm going to ask both traders what they would like, what they're looking for, and whether they want to do a YOLO trade and put a position in front of the event, or whether they would like to wait until we get the data and take a look at the price action and do a reactive trade. So I'll start with Dave. YOLO or reactive, my friend?
I'll go reactive, and I'll probably focus on CAD yen. I like the way that one trades a little bit better.
Okay. And what about Nick? What do you think you want to do here?
I'm just going to YOLO short on CAD CHF.
You're going to go short Canadian Swissy in front right now. You're going to go.
Yeah. So this isn't really my style of trading, so I think it's fun. It's fun. So I'm just going to YOLO.
So if you don't mind, maybe you could show us your screen and tell us what you're seeing on CAD Swissy that makes you want to be bearish. We have about 2 minutes before the event actually comes out, so we can just sort of have a good idea of what the price is.
Honestly, I'm more looking at the news than my screen. Okay. But I noticed it's struggling here with 7461. So I wanted to get in as close to here as possible. I wanted to get in a little while ago around here, but I'm quite lucky that it started rising again because I pretty much want to jump in short right now. Understood. If someone can do that for me.
Understood. So
because it's pretty good buy.
Just so that we can make it clear to all of our viewers, we're looking now actually at the daily chart. Is that right?
No, this is the 1 minute chart. I've dropped.
It's a 1 minute chart. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like for some reason I thought it said daily. Okay, sorry. No, so we're looking at the 1 minute chart, and you're basically seeing lots of range congestion at this 71.40. Okay, understood. So you're selling into resistance on the assumption that that we're going to get possibly a sell off here. Any kind of a
looks like I might be quite wrong about this, but has it been entered yet?
No, we haven't. News is coming out very, very shortly. I'll let you know.
I still want to go short. I just wanted to be. Okay, now I'm getting a better price.
Right. Let me see what the news. Canadian retail sales, 3.6, big good number. It's positive Canadian dollar.
I'm still short.
You're still short. Good for you. What about you, Dave? What are you thinking now? Now that Canadian data came out significantly better than expected. Canadian dollar is mildly lower. What are you thinking of doing? I'm sorry, dollar CAD is mildly lower.
Yeah, CAD. I'm probably still thinking I'll be long CAD yen. I mean, bottom line is it's trending higher. It's sitting on all sorts of support. There's no reason to kind of go against a good print. There might be a little squiggle to the downside as, buy the rumor, sell the news. I would still look to be long CAD yen here. I will give you an update very shortly. But I would think, just in the spirit of doing this, I would say let's go long CAD yen at current levels.
Well, 50 pip stop, 20 pip stop. What are you thinking of as a stop position on that?
This is a trade we want to have closed out by the end of the session, ideally.
Yeah.
I mean, let's give it down to 90, 30 pip stop.
30 pip stop. Okay. Yeah. Can we take a Dave? Sorry?
What was my entry?
Your entry
What
was.
did you guys come in at?
I'll ask my producer. Will tell you. Will tell me just 1 second. I think it was 70. But we'll find out. Can we have Nick entries to CAD Swiss and where he stands right now? And while he's looking that up, Dave, could we look at your chart and just take a look at your CAD yen?
Well, let me. It says I'm sharing it right now. Do I need the producer to kind of put my screen up? Oh, there it is.
There it is.
For me, I'm just going to go to the daily chart just to give the whole basic framework. I mean, again, you can kind of ignore this wave count. I'm not using it at this point in time. I mean, the trend is clearly up. I mean, you could make some arguments that it's getting a little tired up here, but for me, price action and where a lot of prices have traded and held is far more important than trying to outguess or perceive where prices might reverse. I think that's a tough gig. So just purely looking at the momentum, meaning in terms of the direction's clearly higher. I don't want to get in the way of this and going to drop down to an hourly. It looks as though we've kind of corrected down in 3 waves early this week. We'll probably start moving back higher. Again, I'm not basing it on anything overly technical. I have some longer term levels like on the yearly, quarterly, and monthly basis that we're all sitting on, meaning they're key support. And it takes a lot usually for those levels to be broken. It's so tempting to say, oh, wow, we're sitting on this support level, and if it breaks, it's gonna crater. More often than not, they don't crater. They kind of wick below a little bit, and then so until those levels give way, I'm going to err to the bullish side.
Understood. So long term, the chart looks bullish. We had a short sort of intermediate term 1 hour corrective 3-wave move in CAD yen. The data actually is very strong today. So that's positive Canadian dollar. Now, what's interesting is that so Dave is long CAD yen here, and Nick is short CAD Swiss at 74. Let me just tell you the price. Your print was 74.59 on the CAD Swiss.
I wanted to get in higher than that. I know I originally said get me in there, but then when I saw it go higher, if I was in control, I probably would have just dumped more in. Honestly, I wouldn't have because I don't trade this style. But if I was just YOLOing like I just did, I'd probably dump more in to average my price up.
Okay, so we'll add more position for you if you want. We'll definitely do.
If it goes back up, not now though, because now it's pretty much where I entered. So
yeah, I mean it's up to you. So we'll watch it.
Leave it.
So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just leave it. I don't want any more in. I'm good with where it's at now.
So one asset I wanted to ask you guys about right now because it's actually doing quite well, and it's been doing very well for the last couple of days is gold. Do you guys have any views on that? And would you open any positions on the asset sort of on a short-term basis, just looking at how it looks today? Like, let's start with Dave. Dave, what do you think? I mean, it looks like you have gold marked up very, very actively here. So clearly you're following it.
I follow it, but truth be told, my track record with gold is spotty at best. So I'm probably just because it's so it can be so hot and cold. It can trade really well, and then it just becomes really challenging. So if I focused on it every day, I'd probably have more of the nuance of that, which I think is really key for traders. You really want to intimately understand your instrument that you're trading. So, absolutely. I mean, I guess to really be simplistic here, Boris, I would say it looks bullish to me, but that's like taking advice from the guy shining your shoes on what cryptocurrency to buy.
Okay, Dave is staying away from gold. Now, what about Nick? Are you a little braver on the instrument? What do you think of gold? And looking at the charts, would you get long right here, right now?
No, I'm not a big fan of gold. I have to be honest. I'm very similar to Dave. My success rate on gold is spotty at best. But what I'm looking at, it just doesn't really look like a good time to go on long. I mean, I know obviously it's trending up, but it's coming up to massive resistance. And if I wanted to go long, I would have been long a while back. Going long right now into massive resistance. And I know this is counter to my CAD CHF trade where I did short.
You short into resistance. Yes, you short into resistance. That's
actually
correct.
So it's not counter. I don't even know what I did with CAD CHF. That was just a YOLO trade. But going back to gold, right now, I would not long into resistance. That's just something I generally don't do as a trader. We're coming up to a pretty massive resistance here. It reacted to it yesterday, 3 days ago. And then we got like this resistance up here, which has been holding price back for, no, I'm looking at silver. Oops. I flicked down to the wrong chart.
Yeah.
So
don't worry. I'll bring you back to silver in just 1 second. But go ahead. So gold.
Yeah.
What you were saying? You finish up your thoughts on gold?
Right. I don't really have gold marked up that well, so just give me a sec. I've been mostly focusing on cryptos these days.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Gold, totally different story to silver. If I were interested in trading gold, I probably would go long right now because there are a few things right here that I'm seeing that are pretty positive. Like, first of all, it's broken the 200 moving average.
Yeah.
That's just an obvious sign for everyone. Once 200 moving average breaks, it's kind of indicating that we're moving towards a bullish market. It's also breaking through several resistance areas. But the key level I'd be worried about with gold is up here at around about the 1949. Let's just call it the 1950.
That's a long way away. Can we drop to like a 5-minute chart, 5-minute candle chart, and just see how you feel about that? Maybe I can get you to commit.
Oh, to get into a trade right now.
Yeah, just for the session. Let's see, because I think I agree with you.
I'm down for that. No problem.
What do you think? There's a price.
Let me take a quick look.
Sure, absolutely.
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to say short here for sure.
All right.
Short term. I think long term gold. I'm bullish on the short term.
Retrace, right?
All right. I'm definitely down for a retrace on this.
All right, let's get in there. Again, we'll just let it float for a bit, and if it goes against him, he'll probably close it out at the end of the day. But he's shorting into a near term resistance area, and gold. I think I kind of agree with Nick. Gold tends to really spike and retrace quite a lot, so it might be a very interesting short term trade here. On the gold
for short term trades, it makes sense to. Yeah. I love short term trading into shorting into resistance, stuff like that on the short term. But nothing. I would never do that on the long term.
Absolutely. So let's just take a sort of a maybe the producers can show us where the updates are on the positions of everybody, just so that we can have a short idea. We just have a synopsis of everything. So here we go. So here's the scoreboard so far. Dave is a little bit down on. Everybody's down on everything, but it really just spread. It's just spread. It's just mainly everybody's just paying spread right now. So Nick's position is working on gold. Your contrarian view is correct. So we'll let all these things flow. Obviously, one of the things that's interesting is that it's a pretty quiet day. All said and done, it's not a lot of volatility, price action here, either in the indices or certainly in dollar CAD literally has moved 1 pip off of the Canadian retail sales, and it's just been a very, very quiet day so far. But to recap, we have Nick very bullish cryptos with both long ETH and Bitcoin. He's short gold on a short-term sort of a retrace. He's just fading the Canadian strength by getting short CAD Swiss. And Dave is fading this pop in the S&P at the 4170 with a full intention to kind of scale into the trade because he thinks the S&P overall is reaching a very key resistance point. And on a longer term basis, he's bullish CAD yen because that's been a very, very positive trade. Certainly the Canadian dollar has been a very positive trade. And actually the yen cross has been doing well. Again, I think a lot of this has to do, remember, Canadian yields have been rising because the Bank of Canada has been far more hawkish than all the other G10 central banks. And that trend is what Dave is just basically playing for the longer term. He's got the wind at his back with the Canadian retail sales, but so far it's just sort of been a very, very quiet session. So I want to turn our attention now to challenge number 3, which is what do we do into the weekend? What are the best trades into the weekend? And let's start with Dave. And Dave, maybe you can scan. We can take a look at your charts, and you can sort of scan what you are looking at, and give us a read on what looks good for you.
Yep. Well, if you, I've got my chart up. I'm looking at the euro. I'm probably just going to give you some levels that I would be interested in. I'd be bullish euro. You can see on my chart here again. Nothing terribly complex here. Simple Fibonacci retracement of the most recent leg higher. I'd be very interested in being a buyer down into 121.71 down to 121.25, so about a 50 pip range. Pull up my euro on my other chart here to kind of look at the longer term levels. But overall side to be on right now. I know a lot of people, even myself at times, are looking for that elusive bottom in the dollar. But that's been a tough gig to play, so I'm not going to try to be the hero there. But I think overall, on a yearly and quarterly basis, the euro is holding in at some pretty good support levels. So, buying any shorter term pullbacks, I think makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And so even before we're out of here today, I might say, you know what, it doesn't look like we're going to get down to 121.71 or even lower.
I was going to say,
I might just say, hey, let's go long here. But let me let it breathe.
Take the round number. We're going to put you. I'm going to put you into a trade. I'm making the executive decision for you.
Put me in at 122. Okay.
We're going to put you at 22 at the round number. I think I agree with you. It looks really good. It's got basically a double bottom support there. Could crawl back. We had good data overnight too. So all of that seems relatively positive for the euro. So we'll put Dave into the euro at 122.
I don't know how you got the login credentials to my trading account, but it's impressive.
That's the power of being the host. I get to control everybody's account. Exactly. Basically, I just bully you into making trades here. That's my job.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's great. No, I mean that's what's right. I agree with you. It looks like a beautifully beautiful pop here, and certainly worth it. And I would say that you probably, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'd be interested, your thoughts. So if this is sort of a opening probative trade because maybe it's going to run away from us, if it does retrace 10, 15 points on a corrective mode, you'd be happy to step in here, because you're going to be buying it to support.
Yeah, because this little, not squiggle, but this little thrust up over the last hour doesn't really alter my overall view. So I wouldn't be reticent to be buying a pullback if we get a little bit of a move lower. I think it would be perfectly fine.
Understood. Sounds great. Now, Nick, talk to me, my friend. What do you you're long crypto across the board. What do you see in the FX land, by the way? And also I was gonna.
I'm not really looking at much FX these days, but I am definitely interested in getting long on GBP USD, as long as it manages to get up above the 1.42-ish, 250-ish area. So if we manage to get a push above and close above the 1.4260, I'm definitely at that point long on the pound.
Looking at is this what are we looking at right now? Oh, sorry, that's Kiwi yen. Can we go back to the pound for just 1 second?
Yeah.
So just to make sure, is this a daily chart I'm looking at?
Yeah, this is a daily chart.
Okay.
GBP USD daily.
And so to understand this, you if we break the resist here, that's very bullish for you.
I want to see a break and close above the resistance on the daily. But even would be better if it breaks and closes above this previous high here. But basically, I just want a strong showing by buyers above this kind of area. And that would indicate to me that it's going to continue to move up from here.
Right.
It's struggling a lot, though. I don't know if it'll manage.
Can I drop you down to like a 5-minute chart and just to see we can take a look at that? But you can tell Nick really doesn't trade short-term charts because he doesn't even have that as his favorites on his chart.
Yeah, I'm not a big short-term guy. I do some short-term stuff, but I don't like the stress.
You don't like the stress. Well, this is all about stress, my friend. I live in New York. Stress is my middle name. Okay, so one of the interesting things I was going to say, looking at the pound, on the short-term basis, I mean, it looks very supportive here, right? I mean, what SMA is that? Is that like a 200 or something? It looks pretty.
Yeah, this is a 200. I use this for crypto mostly.
Right. Yeah, 200 is just a great filter, I think. Okay. I was just wondering if you wanted to open up any positions on short term on the pound.
You know what? It's just moved up a little bit too much. If you asked me 5 minutes ago, I probably would have went long.
Okay.
We could put an order in, but
okay, let's do a short term.
If it manages to pull back to these lows, the 1.4197.
Okay, 1.4197.
I'd be willing to go along there. That would give me a pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Good risk reward ratio up towards the next resistance area for sure.
Sure.
So yeah, if it drops back down, I'll go long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So we'll put a pending order here. If it comes in down 5 points, we'll see if we can get a trigger on the pound. Okay, let's talk a little bit about crypto just in general, because I think cryptos are obviously the market of imagination at this point for everybody. Wonder if you could maybe share with us your best trade story ever. I've heard this before, but I think that the traders would love to hear it. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about CAT and the craziness, the crazy possibilities of crypto here.
Yeah, sure. This is my best trade ever, by far my best trade ever. So I'm going to jump up to like a daily chart on here. Thing is, you can't get this on Trading View, so I have to switch over to this thing here.
Yes.
Yeah, you just can't get a lot of the stuff on Trading View. But I actually bought this on pre-sale. So I got in at like, you can't even see on the chart where I got in. So this was released back on the 10th of May. I got in basically down here-ish at the 0. So many, there's a bunch of zeros, and then it ended in free. So 0.000000 free. And this, over the course of 2 days, peaked at 1,848 times the value of where it started. So basically, that means if you put in $1, you've now got $1,848.
And if you put $100,
get out of the peak.
And if you put $100, you have 100,000. If you put $500, you have 500,000. Yeah,
I threw in 600 because that was the limit I could put in. Right. I closed out 40% of it, not at the peak because like who picks the peak? It's not an easy thing to do. No one knew where it was going to peak, but I closed out 40% of it.
Okay.
Just over 1,000 times. Which was pretty much the best return I've ever seen on any trade. It just made my year. It made my 5 years really.
Of course. What's the rest? Still floating the rest, or did you dump? Because it looked like we just dumped at the top.
Yeah, the rest is still in there. So now we're floating around about 200 times or so, or maybe a bit. No, it's about 200 times right now. Because when the crypto markets crashed, things really started dropping. Right. I still think that this has some potential. But look, like at the end of the day, the money that I have left in there, so it's $360 to start with. Right. Even at 200 times, we're still talking about. I just got my calculator here, real quick. $72,000. Yeah. So I mean,
still significant.
It's still ridiculous returns.
Correct.
From a single trade. So yeah, I'm happy to take that. But I'm going to wait for a little more. Crypto markets are recovering. I think this could probably pump back up to a good 500 times. And if it does, I'll be.
You let it go.
Yeah, I'll be quite happy with that. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I think the great takeaway from this, for anybody who's watching, is don't ever be too greedy. If you get a gift from the gods, like you have with the market gods, always take some off the table, which is exactly what Nick did. So now, I mean, he's sort of playing obviously with the house's money, but he also has a very, very significant profit already locked in. I think that's sort of like the really big takeaway from these kind of things, because these tend to be things that go up 1,000% in a day will also drop, 50% in a day as well. But I want to shift over now to sort of a more conventional, far more institutional type of story in crypto, which is Ethereum. And I know Dave had a lot of interest in Ethereum. Even though Dave himself doesn't really trade a lot of crypto, he's starting to sort of research and look at the crypto market as a potentially interesting instrument. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about it and how you start to view it.
Yeah, well, truth be told, I do watch the crypto markets just simply because it's a good risk on, risk off gauge if you're trading other major asset classes. So, to be oblivious to them or to ignore them is really foolish. I don't trade them. Never traded Bitcoin, never traded Ethereum or any of the other ones for that matter. But what I'm looking for, and I think what maybe I'm finally stumbling across, is the longer term investment thesis around something like Ethereum, which, as we were talking pre-battle here today, Boris, Ethereum may not be a coin per se in the classic sense that you're looking at Bitcoin. It may actually be kind of an infrastructure or a foundational component. And I just started reading some articles where you get some people who look at these things more from a traditional analysis perspective. And you can kind of start to understand why something like Ethereum could be, a good longer term investment. I'm sure you could probably also trade it too, given the volatility, and that maybe is something I might evolve into. But right now I'm kind of just, poking my head around and trying to get my head around what exactly it is capable of and what are the long-term implications. So, my eyes kind of got opened on that over the last several days, just because of the way that article was written. It was an article on Bloomberg.
Yeah, interesting. Now, I'm going to ask actually the crypto expert in the room here, Nick, given a choice between Bitcoin and Ethereum, what do you like better? And as the follow-up question to that would be, what do you think about doing long Ethereum, short Bitcoin? In other words, a relative strength trade, perhaps even as kind of a longer-term position. What do you think about those ideas?
I don't think anyone should be shorting Bitcoin for starters. I think Bitcoin is going to go up a lot, but I think how much Bitcoin is going to go up will pale in comparison to how much Ethereum is going to go up. The thing with Ethereum is, if we look at it right now, it's got so much against it. So the gas fees are basically the transactions you pay to buy Ethereum and the cryptos that go within the Ethereum ecosystem. The gas fees are absurdly high. During the mayhem a few days ago when Bitcoin was crashing, people were paying as much as $1,000 just to exit an Ethereum position. Right.
So just to put that in perspective, for those people who are not aware of the prices, Ethereum was trading somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000, and the actual transaction fee to get in and out was almost like 30% of the price.
Yeah, it's absurd. I think I saw it hit like some pretty crazy levels over the past few weeks. The biggest one was obviously the big spike down, but over the past few weeks, it's been going really crazy. And if you're paying $500 or $1,000 to exit a position, it makes the position almost, depending on how much you're trading. I mean, if you put 500 in and you have to pay 500 to get out, you're basically you've lost everything. And it was actually kind of like a godsend for during the crash. A lot of people who wanted to panic sell and get out, they couldn't because they couldn't afford to sell what they were holding. And then the markets kind of started recovering, so they ended up in a better position than they would have been if they panic sold and got out. But my point overall was there's a lot against Ethereum right now in terms of the gas fees. It's very hard to buy cryptos under the Ethereum ecosystem because of those. And despite everything, it just keeps moving up. Aside from the last few days where we had the massive retrace in the crypto markets, but before that, it was just consistently breaking all-time highs,
right?
And it just wouldn't stop. So the fact that it's so strong when it's got everything against it, when those fees get sorted, which is coming this year probably, I just don't see any way in which Ethereum can't just skyrocket to 10,000. I just think it's if you've got the money, buy Ethereum now. This is probably the best deal you're going to get for quite some time.
Interesting.
If ever.
And so your best call, really sort of a long-term call, is long ETH at these levels, because you project as much as 10,000 price on this a year from now or 2 years from now, as the infrastructure story really starts to take off in the imagination of the market.
Yeah. I would get in long Ethereum. The only competitor that I really see for Ethereum is Cardano or ADA. That really could take its spot, but it's just starting so far behind at this point that it's going to be tough.
Right.
I'm long on both of those for sure, but Ether I just think is going to really probably be worth more than Bitcoin at some point.
Okay.
In terms of
Nick,
market cap, not the price of Ether, but the market cap of Ether.
Yeah. Got it.
Hey Nick,
All
what was the you said
Sorry,
there was
Dave,
Cardano and one other competitor to Ether or to Ethereum?
Sorry, they're both the same. It's just ADA is the ticker for it, so ADA USDT, but Cardano is the name of the crypto.
Shows how much I know about the crypto market.
Yeah, you're really showing your boomer roots there. You're really showing your boomer roots there, Dave. However, Dave may be a boomer and he may not have any clue about crypto, but he is leading for now. And I think what's interesting right now is if we can go back to the scoreboard, let's take a look how things are shaping up as of this moment. And look at Dave, man, he's rocking along. He's got CAD Yen working for him. He's got Euro working for him, which I bullied you into taking a trade. And even the short S&P is working. So overall, Dave's P&L as of the close of our session right now is up by 65. Now, Nick's P&L is obviously suffering a bit here, but it's suffering hard here, especially on BIT. But he's got longer term positions. And the other thing I sort of caution everybody is that $500 in Bitcoin is like 1 pip in the euro. Bitcoin is, can move $1,000 a minute. So this could change very, very quickly as we go into the end of the day. But as one of the interesting things to sort of look for the end of the day, is Nick was saying, is that if we can clear the 42s, the 42,000 in BIT, that will be very, very bullish for the pair. But as it stands right now, on the close of the trading battle today at this moment, and we will follow up and see how those positions have worked out on a longer term basis as well. But as of now, it's really, really boomer town. Dave Floyd to the rescue, and the crypto.
I think you're the first person that's called me a boomer. But it is true. It is true.
Unfortunately, we all have to face that truth. I know. But I want to thank everybody. It's been an amazingly interesting, super fascinating trading and a conversation piece in our trading battle. I hope everybody really enjoyed it. We're sort of run out of time here, so we don't have any time for audience questions. But we will revisit these positions, of course, a little bit later. And I wish all of our traders the best of luck and the best of trading in the markets. Thank you so much for everything. I hope everybody really enjoyed it, and I hope you had a lot of fun. It's been great for me. Welcome to the trading battle. Everybody have a wonderful day in the markets. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.